rich? Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Well, let's dispel a few myths, shall we? First one is that the church is rich. Well, I happen to be incumbent of this church, which means, in theory, I own it. And I know that I own £6 million worth of building. Isn't that wonderful? £6 million. I'm a millionaire. Have been for 14 years. Yes, I have all the responsibilities and none of the joys of being a millionaire. The responsibilities because we have to do the upkeep and we have to mend windows and roofs and things like that. But I can't sell it. And I can't get an income from it, and all that income is ploughed back into the work of the church. Yes, we are asset rich. We have £30,000 or £40,000 worth of silver, which we could sell once. Instead, we use it to teach people at the back of the church about our faith. We use our buildings, which are worth a lot of money, to actually do good in our community. Yes, we are worth a lot of money in capital terms. We have no loose or spare cash, unfortunately. What about that other wonderful myth? The church has stocks and shares and the government supports it. Unfortunately, the government does not support our church. If you were in Germany, you pay a penny tax, and you can say to whoever it is that you wanted to have your money that they could have it. Here, we do not have that sort of tax system. And some of the tax breaks that we have, for instance, VAT, when we're doing work on listed buildings, used to be not payable. I suspect it will become payable in the not too distant futures. We have no money from government. We have no great store of monies. We used to have the Queen Anne's bounty, but nowadays all the interest from stocks, shares and Queen Anne's bounty goes to paying for the retired clergy. And there are more retired clergy and growing numbers of retired clergy, so there's none left over. So here we are, we have to pay our bills to be able to run our church. So what does your money go towards when you put it into the collection and we pay large amounts of quota? Well, it goes towards making sure the national church runs. It makes sure that we actually teach people how to become good priests. Would you really want us not to teach people? And we have rationalised that. I think we had, I can't remember how many theological colleges, we just closed 3 or 4, just to make sure that we're running at capacity and we haven't got empty spaces. But what about the infrastructure of the church? Things like lawyers and people who pay and human resources. Well, that's becoming even greater burden on us at the moment because the laws are changing. And the church is no longer allowed to stand outside of the law. And so we have to get people at diocesan level who are actually looking after human resources, legal things, schools, and all those things we think we ought to be part of. And yes, we pay towards that. The largest amount of your money goes to pay stipends for priests. And we realise that we can't afford the number of priests that we've got. And yes, we are rationalising and we're looking at ways of cutting back that bill as well. But, nevertheless, you do still have to pay for people like me. You don't pay what you think I'm worth. Question there. You pay me a living wage and a house so that I can continue to do the work that you are helping me to do here in this place. And then there's another set of money as well, which means that we're able to pay for candles, and we're able to pay for wafers and all the things that makes this church run. Well, you do very well at that, and I thank you for it. You give generously. You sometimes give one-off gifts and so on. But every year, we have to remind you it's time to review that giving. Now, you could give £3,000 or £1,500, or you could give 100 extra, or you could give something in kind. I really don't mind, as long as you actually think about it and give perhaps just a little more to help us to do the work that we have to do. We're not paying our way here. We're about £10,000 underpaying our way here. So we're not actually flush with cash. I would hope that you would help towards that by giving either time or talents or just a little of your income. And I know that we're all living in bad times. It even affects the clergy too. Now we chose that reason, that reading today, because I wondered what would happen if we actually said to you, here's £10, go away and find out if you can do something wonderful with it and bring back £11 or £15 or £20. What would you do if I did that to you today? Would you gang together and say, okay, we'll put on a party? Would you go and buy some cake-making materials and come back and sell them? Well, surprisingly enough, we have some envelopes. Let's have a look what's in the envelope, shall we? Oh, you're all going to get one. If you run away with it, so be it, you run away with it. You will all receive a £10 note. Church, given by a charity, by the way, not by the church. And here it says, Bank of St George's, Talent Branch. Value £10, dated the 29th of August. And it's, I promise to do something to be completed by. So there you are. You can do anything you want to do. You can gang together in 3s and 4s. You can put on a show. You can put on any sort of entertainment. And we're giving you a little bit towards it. Is it going to be returned? Well, if it isn't, we've trusted. And the servant with one talent has not even dug a hole but run away and spent it. Maybe, however, we can do better. So I'm going to ask our lovely servers who are giving their time and talents to be lovely servers to go out and to present to all of you an envelope. Well, as I say at the end of many sermons, it's now really up to you. We're hoping to have our envelopes and things back by Advent, the start of the church's year, a new year in the church. Let's see what we've been able to do as a congregation, because it's not always down to your parish priest, it's also down to you. Amen.